How did Netflix screw up Death Note, but nail One Piece?
Real quick, make sure to like and subscribe, y'all. I gotta pay these lawyer fees for my child fight club case. Support the fam.
When the One Piece live action was announced, I was not a fan. Why One Piece? The show with 10-foot-tall fishmen, medically trained talking reindeer, and this stretchy goober as the main character. They couldn't nail the most grounded and quote-unquote realistic animes. How could they get the most silly and free-spirited anime which uses the medium to its full advantage? Somehow, they did. This show has the spirit of One Piece nailed perfectly. From the acting, to the writing, and the dialogue, the emotion feels so raw and moving. Even the CGI is pretty good at times. Luffy's first Gum Gum pistol on Alvida really sold me early. The accuracy of the character, the costumes, and the moments made me ecstatic as a fan. However, not all things were accurate. This show changes quite a bit. How does a show manage to cover almost 43 episodes of anime into 10 episodes of live action and make it good?
You simplify. Now, some folks might recollect that phrase, how can you change my favorite show, reduce it in complexity, while also sticking to the themes? Well, you gotta have talent. And for that, I need to give up to Netflix, as they're able to do a lot of creative choices that doubled as plot movers and also excuses for fun moments. A perfect example is Arlong showing up at Baratier. How could Arlong know where they were? Well, they chose to make Buggy split off one ear and stick it in Luffy's cap, furthering Buggy's rightful place as one of the most feared in East Blue, but also giving a good reference point for the final villain as Arlong is carrying his head as they meet Luffy. Speaking of Baratier, one thing I actually disliked in the anime is how Nami leaves in the midst of a lot of chaos. Them only noticing after Luffy beats Don Krieg just felt clunky, made for bad pacing in the overall story. However, in live action, they make the choice to have Don Krieg be fully handled by Mihawk to set up for his arrival, as well as having Nami leave be the ending to Baratier and a start to Kokonami Village. Her being pushed away from Luffy as Zoro in recovery from Mihawk and being pulled by Arlong due to her deal set up for a great retelling, as well as letting the new viewers digest it a little easier. This is how you adapt a show. They simplified the plot without removing any depth to the characters, world, or story. However, with 10 episodes to retell was originally 43 episodes, there has to be some bad changes as well. Let's talk about Garp, the hero of the Marines. When Garp was introduced, I was enchanted by the Scottish, hardened Marine badass. I mean, early on, he throws a cannonball at Luffy to replicate the full-body Iron Fist scene in the original. While I loved his antics, his character felt off. I mean, for as long as they included him in the show, it felt like they were detracting from his character and not building on it. Garp is supposed to be stubborn like Luffy, but also focused, brave, and fighting the good fight. He spends the series holding back and messing with the Straw Hats to test Luffy. It's dumb. In the anime, he clearly doesn't give a shit about either of his kids and simply lets them do as they will. He's rough on Luffy, but in a way to build him up. After Luffy departs from his hometown, he's already tough enough to take everyone on in the East Blue besides Mihawk. Garp knows this. Furthermore, his relationship with Kobe felt really cool at times, but also confusing. I couldn't tell what they were going for. Might have to rewatch. However, from the beginning, I was confused why they cut out the scene where Luffy purposely fights Kobe to make the Marines think they're enemies and ease the transition into enlisting. In the show, not only is Captain Axehand Morgan not properly displayed as a villain, not really doing anything besides just being mean, they also clunkily transition Helmeppo into enlisting. Since in the anime, his father almost killing him and ranting like a lunatic was the thing that shook him up for good. I think the Marines in general should not have been shown as often as they were, and if this show gets another season, they only need to appear when they're relevant to the Straw Hats. Speaking of the Straw Hats, I felt that all the actors did a great job, however, they were not treated equally. Usopp and Sanji needed more screen time, especially since Usopp did not get a dedicated episode, as a big chunk was Zoro flashback. Not only did they remove the auxiliary characters that heighten Usopp, being the Usopp Pirates, they also didn't give a proper ending to the townspeople, as in the anime, they missed Usopp and his antics. They loved his lies, he brightened everyone's days. In live action, it's kind of pushed aside. While Sanji was cleaned up of his perviness, I wish we got that classic scene where Luffy tries to convince Sanji to join. He doesn't until he sees how far Zoro and Luffy are willing to chase their dreams, being the Mihawk vs Zoro fight. That moment, along with Jin, are what solidify Sanji's character early on. In live action, they kind of brushed it aside, again. While there are always going to be issues in the first season of a show, what would one expect in One Piece's second? We need more Straw Hat time. In the anime, it races with a lot of fun moments of the Straw Hats just hanging out, goofing off, and overall bonding. The live action, it's always moving. Because of course, only 10 episodes, the pacing was always going to be bad. However, with all the main characters now established and the new enemy teased, we should have a bit more time for the Straw Hats to enjoy themselves, banter a bit. I want Usopp and Luffy to race Sanji's kitchen and get the shit kicked out of them. I want Nami to teach the crew some fun facts about the ocean weather. I want Usopp to try to make little gadgets and fix the Mary. Moments like that build up and earn the emotional conflicts, like Sanji joining, or Zoro pledging to never lose a fight, or hey, in the anime when Usopp cries over the Mary. In a show with a lot of action, I understand it's difficult to be able to afford the lighthearted, simple, slice of life stuff. However, it is needed to balance it out. We also need a better balance of the amount of episodes adapted into the live action runtime. We cannot continue to cram 50 episodes into 10 live action ones. The bond between the Straw Hats is what makes us enjoy the conflict. Without that, it's simply eye candy for folks who are already fans. We also need stronger writing. While all 5 villains in the first season are good, only one of them is great, in my opinion, that being Buggy. Truthfully, it was the perfect casting choice, as well as some nicely added changes to the horror element, with the citizens of Orangetown being forced to be a part of his audience. Lightning doesn't strike twice, however, so I would hope they would cut back on the amount of villains in favor of building up Smoker, which should be the recurring enemy in Season 2. I want to climax towards the middle, however, where Luffy's on the chopping block, and Buggy and Alvida gleaming with joy, and then you know what happens. However they do it, I'm hoping they do keep the same themes and pacing that Logtown had in the original. We also need more consistent moments from the original manga. One of my least favorite changes is how they completely removed Luffy knocking out the sea beast that took out Shanks' arm when he first goes to sea. This moment was important to show how much stronger Luffy has gotten, and sets the tone for us to trust in Luffy always. Another big change is how Mary, Kai's financial advisor, actually dies. This makes Usopp look so much worse when he leaves, because Kai doesn't have anything now besides the business. She has no Usopp pirate to keep her on her toes, or Mary to help her navigate adulthood. A lot of fans have pointed this out, but if we ever get to Alabasta, they are definitely going to kill off Pell for good, so RIP in advance. While I can't predict the future of this show, I am content with its present. This new series has raised the bar for all of action adaptations and ultimately made me very happy as a fan. I'm definitely going to rewatch this a few more times to just let it marinate, but overall this is a very solid show for me. Let me know what you guys think about it and any changes you found to be either amazing or horrible. Peace.